Hello, this is Hyde in the Philippines. Good evening. Uh, Tonight I want to talk about relinquishing your independence. I know you're like, what? Okay, well, let me elaborate. I've been alone a long time and, I've been taking care of myself for quite some time. I mean, everything I do, I have to do by myself. From cooking my own meals to serving them to washing the dishes after they're done, putting the dishes away, washing my clothes, cleaning my house, paying taxes, grocery shopping, you name it. I do it alone. I don't do it with anybody else. I make the lists. I check them twice. I do everything by myself when I'm at home. Now I came to the Philippines and I met a beautiful girl and I've given up that independence because I'm not alone anymore. I have somebody in my life. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to try and elaborate the best I can. One of my best examples is at mealtime, my girl cooks my meals. Okay, she cooks them. She sets the plate down of food in front of me, complete with knife and fork, a napkin, and something to drink. She does all that before she sits down to eat. And then asks me, is there anything else I need before she sits down to eat? And of course, I've got nothing to say about that. We eat our meal. During the course of our meal, if I finish my drink and I want some more, I don't get up and get myself a refill. She gets up and gets it for me. Now, at first, the first time during the middle of our meal, I got up and I was like, well, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I need some more. She's like, what do you, I'll get that. I'll get that. And, kind of gave me a little stern look like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, all right, so she refilled my glass. And when the meal was over, I mean, courtesy dictates that if you cook me a fine meal, I should at least walk my plate over there to the sink and rinse it off. But that's not how it's done here. As soon as I started to get up with my plate, she put her hand down on my plate and was like, what are you doing? Again with that little stern look. And I was like, well, I was going to, she goes, that's my job. I was taken a little bit aback, because your job, I hadn't assigned any jobs or nobody been assigned any jobs, but she'd taken it upon herself that, I'm her man and she's looking after me. Okay, like I said, it took a little getting used to. She walked it over to the sink and, within 20 minutes, she'd had them dishes done too, and put all the dried them and put them away. I mean, that was all done in the course of us just taking a meal. Now that's just one of the things. My other my other example is I'm not allowed to walk up out of this house until I get the once over. And what do I mean by that? Okay, if my hair ain't piled right, she'll go grab a comb and straighten my hair out and make sure I look good. Uh, you know, uh, she checks my shirt, my pants, and everything to make sure that there ain't no stains on them or anything. My shoes, if my shoes are dirty, I can't go out with them. She's gonna make me kick them off, and she's gonna clean them up, and make me wear a different pair of shoes till those are clean. These are all things that were a little bit bewildering to me because I'm used to taking care of myself. I'm gonna pick out what I'm gonna wear, how I look when I roll out the door. And, I'm a guy, so I don't really care that much. But I mean, in her eyes, it's a direct reflection on how well she takes care of me, is what the people are going to think about her when I walk out the door. If I'm unkempt, they're going to be thinking that she's not a good woman and she's not taking care of her man. Now, there's also the thought that some other girl going to swoop in and scoop me up because she can take care of me better than her. Well, I don't think that way, man. She's taking care of me so well that I wouldn't dare entertain the idea of being with another woman over something so silly as, this, my shirt being a little dirty or something like that. It makes me smile. Uh, but I mean, she will not let me out the door unless I look right. And to top it off, she'll smell me. It's hilarious. She'll give me a nice big old whiff, and she'd be like, all right, and out the door. Then I'm permitted to go out the door. that's just a couple of the things that she does for me. And there's so many other. I mean, my house is clean. I mean, she sweeps the house 2, 3 times a day because I track stuff in and out. You have outside shoes and inside shoes, and somehow I manage to track stuff in the house anyway. And she's Johnny on the spot with that. When we get up out of bed in the morning, it's within 10 minutes that bed is made and the sheets straightened out. I mean, this house is clean on a normal basis, and it's just once again something I'm not used to. Being that well looked after. And I can't lie to you. I like it. I do like it, man. Who doesn't want to come home to a clean house? You know, uh, or come home to a woman that is going to be looking after you and taking care of your little needs and wants. I mean, it's not a slavery. It's something that she enjoys doing. She's been wanting a man of her own so she could take care of him, and here I am, and she does. She does look after me, and like I said, it was an adjustment period. There's an adjustment. Some of the things she does for me, I was just like, I, I'm not accustomed to that kind of treatment. You know, uh, and once again, I'm just going to tell you, I like it. Now, she's 24 years my junior. Okay, so in the Filipino culture, uh, she's not marriage material for one of these Filipino dudes. Okay, well, that's their loss is my gain. I couldn't be happier. I mean, she's beautiful, 34 year old looking beautiful girl. I mean, long, beautiful black hair. Uh, and she's just no makeup. I mean, she can walk right up out of this house in the morning, throw on a ponytail, and she looks so good. I mean, just beautiful, man. And you ain't going to get that back home. Most of the girls back home, you say, hey, we're fitting to leave, and they're going to need a good 30 minutes to, before they can go and apply all that war paint so they can walk out of the house and perpetuate some bullshit that just ain't true. And what I mean ain't true is they don't look that good. You know what I'm saying? Uh, or they don't believe they look that good. They got to put all that stuff on. My girl doesn't wear anything. I mean, absolutely nothing. She just stroll out the door looking good, man. And I gotta tell you, it's delightful. Uh, we, in this circumstance, I guess we're both considering ourselves kind of lucky to have found each other. I'm lucky to have found somebody as beautiful and as young as she is, and she feels fortunate to have found. This is gonna sound funny, but she thinks I'm beautiful, and she thinks I'm pretty. Like that takes some getting used to too, man. Because back home they got a nickname for people that look like me. They call us Dusties. We're all old and dusty. We have no value anymore. And she looks at me with, sometimes I catch her sneaking peeks at me. Out the corner, I catch her looking at me, and it makes me grin because she's stealing looks. That's something that I do. Now, one of the other things I'm going to tell you about being with one of these beautiful women from the Philippines is they afford you the opportunity to be a man. What do I mean by that? I mean, she affords me the opportunity to be a masculine man. The way I was raised Southern. We're supposed to look out for our women. We stand up for them, and we take care of them. Like a man takes care of a woman. Now, what I'm talking about is, nowadays they got these soy boys with all these tattoos, these little snowflakes. They'll cry. They get their feelings hurt if you say something cross to them or you look at them a little too sternly. I'm like, look, man, what are you going to do in the middle of a crisis if some shit happens? You know, Women want a man to stand up for them, not this, costume man. Because you can put all the ink you want on a guy, and you can have piercings, and you can wear leather and all that shit. But I mean, if there's no ferocity in your heart, there's no man in your heart, then you know you're going to do your woman a disservice in a moment of crisis. You better have a pistol. And even if you did, you probably won't have the balls to use it. Now, what I'm talking about is my girl is feminine. She is a girl. She's not competing with me for the masculine energy of the house. She expects me to be the man. And I'm going to tell you some of the things like that I do instinctually because I was raised Southern and this is how we do things. If we're walking down the road, I make her walk on the inside of me. So in case a car jumps the curb, it hits me first. And I got the opportunity to push her out of the way and save her life. Okay, if we're going up some stairs, I make her walk in front of me. Why? Because in case she falls back, she falls into me and I got an opportunity to catch her. Okay, if we're going down the stairs, I make her walk behind me. Once again, so if she falls into me and doesn't get hurt. You know, that's what I open doors. These are all things that men do to protect their women. That's how we were raised. I mean, us older folks, and we've forgotten that because the women of our time now have decided that that's some misogynist male bullshit that they don't want to deal with, which is all 100% BS. And you know it because when something bad happens, what's the first thing that happens? Then women will jump behind the men and push us out front and go, you need to take care of that. You're the man. Well, I mean, I personally had a quizzical look on my face. I was like, weren't you just the man here a few minutes ago with all that, I can do anything a man can do? What happened to that? In a moment of crisis or danger or there's a chance of getting hurt, all of a sudden you're not masculine anymore. You divert to your true feminine self, and then that's when the mask comes off. Well, you don't have to participate in that BS here. The women automatically know their place, and when I say their place, I mean beside you, not out in front of you, acting like a man. She's going to step beside you, and in a moment of crisis, she's going to get behind you where she belongs, so you can handle what needs to be handled. Because after all, you are a man. I mean, you're a man, and you should act like one. And you get to be that here, and that just makes you feel good. Once again, to stand proud with your chest out, your arm around your girl, or your hand in hand, that type of thing. I love it here because of that thing. Women treat their men like men, and they're happy to provide for them and provide services. And I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about the little things, taking care of the house, taking care of the food, you know, taking care of you personally. These are things that we've forgotten back in the West and that men crave so deeply. So when they get here and they're treated well, you know, they once again man up. You remember being a man? Do you remember what it was like to be a man? Well, you are a man. Come to the Philippines. Realize that it wasn't just a dream that you saw in your parents back from bygone years. It's alive and well right here, right now. All right, that's about all I got for ranting today on what it is and how I've relinquished some of my independence. I couldn't be happier to be with somebody else and not be alone. All right, come on over. I hope your life is good, and I hope to see you soon.